Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for another story from my great-grandma's book. Today's story is called The Borrowed Horse. When I was about 12, my father would take me on trips to Belle Fourche, South Dakota. We took the grain in, which would take at least 3 days. I loved horses, and Dad trusted me to drive in the daytime. He could lie down on the grain and get some rest. Then we would stop and let the horses rest and feed while we had our picnic lunch. It was a long, lonely road. Not many houses in between. On one of these trips, my father had borrowed a horse from our neighbor, Mr. Sect. When we were about halfway to Belle Fourche, the horse my father borrowed got sick. It got distemper, and what a disaster. It died. Dad walked back many miles to see if he could borrow a horse so we could take the grain into Belle Fourche to sell. Now, you see, we lived way out in the country. Did a stranger loan a horse to a stranger? Yes, he did. And we finally arrived at our destination. Dad had introduced me to the clerks at the store and said for me to stay seated on the bench outside the store while he went to unload the grain at the elevators and start the shopping for 6 children. Then he was going to buy the 100 pounds of sugar, 10 50-pound sacks of flour, and whatever else was needed at the store where I sat. I waited and waited and waited. I was hungry and thirsty and frightened for hours. A man who knew my father struck up a conversation with me, found out I liked horses, so he said the next time he was on the range with his wild horses, he would give me a pony. But it never materialized. In later months, the man came to our house and had dinner with our family. Anyway, after many hours, my dad came, and by that time, I was really frightened and in tears. I thought he had left me for good. But back to the horses after several days, my father had to return the borrowed horse, and of course, there was the problem of the first horse, which had died. And how was Dad going to pay for that? There was no surplus money, no grain, and the deal was I was hired out for the summer, supposedly to help care for or babysit 6 children, and the lady being pregnant with her 7th child. This was quite an experience. I scrubbed floors on my hands and knees, washed dishes, prepared the vegetables, and entertained the 6 children. Diapered some of them and then put them down for a nap by 1 p.m. Then I took a 100-pound gunny sack and went into the pasture across the road where the cows were and picked up the big dry cow chips, manure they called them, or dung. Then I dragged the sack full of chips to the house and stacked them on top of each other in an open shed. You see, these were used for firewood. They made a hot fire quickly, but also the coals or ashes died down quickly, and it was so very hot in South Dakota. I was so glad when the summer was over and I could be home again. That's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it and would like to see more videos from my great-grandma's book, please subscribe. We'll be back every Thursday with a new story from this book, short or long. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye!